Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. My name's VeteranDog91, and today we are playing Dyson's Sphere Program, Episode 2, in the NF Sol System. So let's, without further ado, go ahead and get back down here to our planetoid mech, Icarus, and see where we left off. That's right, last episode we left off by queuing up a whole bunch of researches, including a ton of research that will push us into the next age here, and we actually can queue a little bit more research. That's queued. Let's go ahead and queue this. And we can queue the superconductor, and we can't queue the energy matrix yet because, of course, I just wasted time. Now, last episode we talked about what we would be getting into as soon as this episode started, and one of the first things I wanted to get into was the production. I let the building queue finish before I saved last night after I ended yesterday's episode. But today, I want to get into the production of foundations so that we can hopefully work on some bigger projects that are going to take a little bit more space. So first, one of the first steps here is to get this up and running, is to make sure that we got lots of stone, and of course that's not going to be too hard considering how many stone nodes there are right here. We're going to go ahead and place 4 gatherers, and we're going to bring them out, and we'll bring it out here, and we'll actually run it over and down, and we'll bring this out to there, and we'll bring that out to there, and then we'll just bring this one out and down, and let's go ahead and grab a storage here, and we'll just build it like that. Grab our logistics, and we've got a few of these built. I want to build a few more, which of course we can't because these require the next tier, or require gravity and or electronic drive, which we don't have access to yet. So we will just be using regular sorters for now. So let's go ahead and get those put in. Let's go ahead and take this out, bring it over to there. Let's go ahead and run over here so that we can be a little bit closer to what we're building, so that we can get this done a little bit quicker here. And of course, let's go ahead and get started over here. We don't want to waste a ton of power, especially considering we're currently running on coal, which is not the most efficient source of power. So let's go ahead and run that in. And we did build, we did actually complete one thermal power plant, which we're going to hook up to our main network over here real quick. And simply we're just gonna so this should produce 2.16 megawatts, upping our power satisfaction for now. I'm going to also build, while we walk here, a few more of those and a few of these. I'm going to actually grab out of the smelter. Oh, no, I'm not. We grab from over here a few of these steel plates and reorganize that. Of course, as you can see, our matrix labs are working away to produce us our blue energy cubes and consume the blue energy cubes at a rate so that we can get our research done fairly quickly here. Also, we're going to check out the upgrades tree today, which the only thing we'd upgraded last episode was the mecha core. One of the things I want to focus on upgrading right now is communication control, which takes 100 cubes. And then the next thing I want to upgrade is the drone engine, which will take 200 cubes. And That'll be our next queued research, and then we'll do the energy matrix to get underway here. Let's, for power, we can run a turbine over to there. We can run a turbine to clear through to there. Again, I wouldn't normally run a solar panel clear over here, but I don't want to waste a ton of resources on power facility over here. That should power it. Yep, okay. So those are those facilities powered there. The next thing we need is going to be a few of these. And these are going to be producing us some foundations right away here, because foundations are fairly important. And foundations are going to be fun because they require these. And they produce one foundation every 1 second, and it takes 3 stones. So basically, we'll be producing 60 foundation a minute with each one of these facilities, and consuming 180 of these stone materials. So 180 of those, if I'm not mistaken, is going to be 3 smelteries worth, but I'm going to double check. Yep, it'll take 3 smelteries per one of our assemblers that's producing foundations to produce at maximum rate, which means we can only run 2 assemblers off of this here. Of course, that's not going to be enough for us, so we're going to need another 6 of these to basically match the amount of production we need. So yeah, and these can move a total of 1.5 trips, so 1.5 trips a second. In other words, they're moving roughly 45 stone a minute, which is nowhere near enough. So to power this, we're going to have one conveyor come off here. We're going to actually turn the direction of, say, this conveyor here to connect into there. And did we finished, we haven't, oh no, we did finish a research, didn't we? So we should be able to go back to the upgrades tree and grab, nope, we haven't finished one yet. Which is unfortunate, but it does take quite a few cubes to do that, so of course it's understandable. So for now, we can only power 2 of these, so we're going to actually get rid of everything else. And we're going to grab over to there and come up to there, and then we're going to grab from over here and come up to there. And of course, I'm going to need another 10 to 20 of those, so I'm just going to build 20. That is our situation for that needed done. We need iron to come over to those, so let's produce 2 gathering facilities should be enough. We're going to pull from this iron node up and to our left here. I'm also going to produce 2 more let's produce 3 more turbines and a few of these. And I'm thinking we've got plenty of copper, so I'm gonna go grab some iron while I let this build queue build here. Coming over here, we can grab some steel plates from this factory here, and we can grab 50 iron and kind of inventory sort that. We can grab another 200 steel plates from there. Actually, I'm going to put back 100 of those. Yeah, we should be alright. Okay. So we have no blue cubes left here. All of these have at least 1 blue cube in them. Cool. So that's running fine. It does take quite a bit of time to get research done, especially when you're looking at like 500 of these blue cubes, which actually is kind of nice because it does give us time So we can grab that. For the purpose of this, we know the consumption rate of steel is going to be 60 steel per minute. So this is produced from 3 and takes 3 seconds, so it'll produce 20 per minute, which means, again, this requires 3 of these per one of these facilities, so we're going to end up with another 6 smelteries over here to produce the number of necessary steel beams, and that'll produce us 20 steel per minute. So 20 steel, 40 steel, 60 steel. This consumes 60 a minute, so 60, and then another 60 here for steel. That, of course, is all consuming 20 steel per minute, or iron ingots per minute, which means we're going to need 2 more smelters to cover the necessary amount there. And to basically make this easy, we're going to go boop. We're going to go boop. That is just for simplistic purpose here. We can go in, and come on. Finish the last 3 there. Boop. Then we can grab our 2 steel plants. I grab that, bring that over, and pipe in that way. Now, I know that these are far more capable of running multiple of these. But it's always kind of nice to see a little bit of diversity, so we'll power that all via those, and then we'll pipe that over there. Actually, I'm going to need that there, and I'm going to need that there, so we'll just get rid of the one in the middle, and coming out of these 3 here and over to this one here, and then coming out of these 3 here and running to that one there. Then we're going to need a storage building running from there and there. We're going to produce 40 more of those. But, in the meantime, this will be smelting steel. This will be smelting steel. That needs to be apparently moved to there. There we go. And we're still well below our consumption right now. This should produce 60 per minute, and this should be making 20 per minute, consuming... Oh, bollocks. Yeah, that, I was off there. Oopsie. So I'm going to need 4 more of these. And I'm going to lack the stone necessary to do it, which is actually kind of nice, because for once, I've got stone on hand, and I've got a ton of stone here. So 2 more of those, And we can pipe out from there, pipe out from there, pipe out from there. And we'll put faster conveyors there and there so that we can bring in enough of these. Oh, okay, power's the problem right now. Let's build 2 more geothermal plants. Okay, so power is becoming a problem. Of course, luckily, we did set up this coal plant last episode, which nicely enough can be placed kind of mediocrely throughout here, with one coming out to there and a pipe coming out to there. One into there and one into there. That will give me a little bit more power to hopefully keep the network steady. We can probably run even more power later off of each of those lines, but for now that's going to have to be what we'll call good enough. So each one of these consumes 3 steel plates per. So each of these should be producing at max rate there. And of course, rotate that around, go like that. Put you out there, put you across to there, put you to there, and take you to there. And produce steel. Okay, so we'll delete that so that steel only comes out this way, and boop that in there so that steel goes in, comes out, and each machine can handle its maximum capacity. I think, except for maybe that, which we'll just steal some iron from the other node creator to allow for enough steel to reach the end result. Which we're backing up on steel now, so this is producing 45 per minute. That doesn't quite add up. It takes 1 second to produce a foundation, and we've got 3 stone. We should be producing 60 a minute. Unless I'm mistaken, that doesn't add up. But that is fine. Looks like we got plenty of stone. In fact, we could probably, just because I'm assuming that that my numbers are wrong here. Okay, so apparently, we're just going to need to add another mining machine to complement ore supplies. Unless this stabilizes, which, I mean, it could very well stabilize. I think the best bet, though, is to just throw another mining machine down. And we can come straight out of there and run over to there. And to complement this ore supply here. There we go. I mean, this should be realistically producing 150 a minute, but we're consuming 180, and this is producing 150 a minute. We're consuming, again, 180. This one is producing the 180 we actually need, and now we're lacking the power. So again, we're going to fly across this little lake here. So one of the next things, the reason we're focusing a lot on foundations this episode, is the next thing I want to set up is... that'll work. Then we'll go like this, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and boop, 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 boop. We'll just organize and keep some coal on us. So now we got this pretty sizable 20 megawatt output over here from these coal plants that are each consume doesn't say how long. So 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. So say 2 a second, and if it's consuming it 2 a second, and this is producing 240 per minute, that would be, if you divide that by 60, like, yeah, we're producing enough right now, hopefully. And we've got a backstock of coal if we need it, so okay, so we've got the power. So let's go check and make sure that the foundation production's running at its max. Also, while we've been sitting here doing basically nothing, we finished researching a bunch of stuff, so that allows us to grab the drone engine. The communication controls already queued. I don't need the drive engine yet. Energy circuit is mecha fuel power. Increases the recovery speed of the mecha core energy. The higher the fuel chamber's power, the faster the mecha converts energy into fuel. That is something I want to look at, but again, I don't think I have the supplies for yet. Mecha frame, inventory capacity, and universe exploration. Yeah, definitely going to want that up and running here. And I'm sitting over here on top of this, and I really shouldn't be. So we're lacking stone. And it appears that the major lack comes from not having enough stones. If I come out here, go over, and run into there. And then, unlike before, I can actually just use the one conveyor we just recovered to do that. And I'm going to produce 60 more of these suckers, and, well, I'm out of iron, so I'm going to go grab some steel plates. This also produces 95% intensity from our solar panel. Actually, we have a backup of energy matrices, which is nice. We're going to queue up a ton of conveyors because we'll need them. And so one of the things that we did talk about was the equatorial lines. So this is, we're going to call it the North Pole. Now, as you travel around here, you're going to be right in the middle, which is your equator, where the 4 lines meet. And so we're going to go over there and just double check. I'm not wrong about that. We just researched basic chemical stuffs. So let's go ahead and follow this line here. We have plenty of fuel, so we won't run out as we fly here. So here we are. This is the line between the North and South Poles. And so, because we're on this line, and we're just going to use the conveyor to know where it's at here. And no, not normal, something I would normally do. But I am going to do an X marks the spot. And we can actually make it look even a little bit better. There we go. a nice little X marks the spot. That's actually going to be off, and it's more like a cross marks the spot. But that's to let us know where the equator line is. Now, we're on the equator, which is actually a good thing to know that you're on, and to be sure about. And the reason is because I want to create and something that is going to like kind of help us push along into a nice looking structure is going to be an equatorial power range, which will essentially be a massive solar and wind array that runs probably out 2 blocks on each side, so to this line and then over to this line here from this equatorial line, or the equator. And the equatorial power range will basically rotate all the way around the planet, and so when you look at it, you'll have power production all the way around, wind and solar, all the way around from point A to all the way back to point A. And the reason that'll be so nice is it will allow us to have power production. Is there one of these that's not getting enough fuel? Yes, there is. And I have 2 of these left, so let's just pop that off. Let's pop that off. And we're going to use the faster node so that we can keep continual power. Now, essentially the reason the equatorial power range will be so nice is it will allow us to create massive amounts of solar energy from these solar panels, which will be constantly running. 50% of the solar array would be constantly running. And so essentially these produce, the generation capacity is 20.2 megawatts. And, oh wait, no. No. There is, okay, so solar panels are capable of producing 360 kilowatts when in the sun. Wind is capable of producing 300. That's obviously pales in comparison to 4 or 5 thermal generators, which would produce 2.16 megawatts apiece, but they require coal and extraction, so you have to count off their cost as well. And so now that we've got this running, these are pretty much constantly running. I want to add another smelter to each side here once those are caught up. So we're actually producing these at a fairly good rate, so that is actually something to look forward to. Essentially, we're gonna begin flattening the terrain. Now, obviously, we won't be able to have like an equatorial power range all the way around the planet. That will fall down to the fact that we actually have stuff sitting here on the equator already, including ore veins that we run through, and I don't want to move or get rid of an ore vein to create a power range, because that would be fairly inefficient. So essentially we are going to have the power range, but the power range will be we'll have breaks in it where there's no ore nodes and stuff close to where our current operation center is. I may not actually break for later nodes and allow a way around, so much to say, because later on I might just put it where the node sits and then call it a day, basically. So these, obviously, this takes a lot of these foundations. Each foundation is a 1x1 area. So essentially that was all of our current production of foundations, and we didn't even make it that far around the planet. Maybe a quarter of the planet has half of its side done. But this is where wind turbines will be going. So we can create a few wind turbines or and other supplies. So one of the things is getting a production online for all these basic components so that I don't have to produce, when I want to produce conveyors, I don't have to produce these gears. And I could even have conveyors being produced naturally. Something that we may want to set up. We can pull copper from there, but we need production facilities up. So if I want to create just constant amounts of conveyors, it would be kind of little bit more difficult, but it wouldn't be impossible to do. Also, we need energy matrix unlocked, which will be the last research we get for blue cubes, because that is the last research blue cubes can do by itself, which seems a little weird, but it is. T. Well, it's not the last, it's the last research on the technology side of stuff that we can do. Notice. So, we can do vein scanning now in the M mode. No. No. Okay. So, a single vein can be covered by multiple mining machines. The more mining machines covering it, the consumption rate is faster. By continuously upgrading the material utilization and technology trees, you can increase the mining speed of the machines and reduce the rate of loss caused by the veins. That's not what I was looking for. That's all right. So we've got a ton of this stuff still being produced here. Do we have a power transfer? Yeah, we do, but I won't hopefully need it. I'm going to disconnect those for a second. And essentially, I'm going to choose where to start. Our power tree will be there. And then I'm going to bring that up to the closest possible point where I can produce power. And we're going to transfer power via that. And so we've got these two solar arrays here, or wind arrays here, actually it's more like 3 and 4. And 1 can cover that. And 2 can cover that. That allows me to basically... So actually what I want to do here, it's a little different than what I was going to do, which is I want there to be a center wind turbine, and then this will go out, which means our equatorial power range here to fit these 3 turbines will have to be 1 block wider to make it 100% of its size. Because we're on the equator, all of these power facilities can run in unison like that. Which actually will look pretty cool once it's done. And essentially, the idea will be to have wind turbines to the maximum size. That still connects, which is fine. And then what we'll do is coming out from the center here, we'll have 2 solar panels will fit in between each one of these wind turbines, and then we'll have, and then behind and in between each one of these will fit 2 and 2, so we'll have a total of 1, 2, 3. We'll have a total of 7 wide solar between the wind turbines, and in between the turbines we'll have another 4 solar panels. So you can see how we can maximize the area used by our machinery. And we will still have like an area like this where it's broken off. So we can click that, and then we can actually see that this planet has 90.9 gajillion iron ore, 75 gajillion copper. We've got 145 gajillion stone and 231 gajillion coal. We've got 61% build area. We've got a water type for the ocean. We have 26.97 production per second of crude oil, which we already knew. We have a solar energy efficiency ratio of 95%, which isn't very high, and a wind energy ratio of 100%, which is actually basically telling us that this facility here produces, the wind turbine can produce 300 kilowatts. This can produce 341 at maximum draw, which isn't the highest we could get it, but it is for now. Solar panels are kind of hard to make because they require high purity silicon, which we sadly don't have on this planet. Wind turbines, on the other hand, we can produce for fairly cheap, so that's nice. And we've got another 800 foundations that we can lay, including the ones that will require. And actually, what I may do, yeah, we'll just kind of expand our area here. Now, each thing is slightly different. So, we consume these things, and you'll notice that down here we have a soil pile amount, which accounts for how much soil we produce, or we have. Currently, we have 48.5 thousand. Now, if you notice, if we scroll in really low here, we can see that this is like really flat other than the curvature of the Earth. But you'll notice that there are areas that aren't flat to this. And those are going to be your oceans, which you can see obviously go down. And you've got the areas which go up, which are your grassland areas. Now, each area will consume a certain or give a total an amount of soil. So like for example, this sand here will consume 38 soil piles for the entire placement of the foundation. This will consume none. This will consume 191. This will consume 1,150. We're out of these. But as you can see, they consume different amounts depending on how much they raise or shrink an area. So, we got a bunch of production online here. One of the things I wanted to do was put another one of these down, another one of these down. And again, produce more stone. And we'll need to bring over this. We are just hammering out the stone production now for hopefully getting these as close to 100% efficiency as we can. Okay, well I see where part of the problem comes from here. I didn't realize that was placed so poorly. And that's my bad. So there we go. Now we're producing basically 45 180 foundations. Now, that's going to be the end of this episode. But between this episode and the next episode, I'm going to do a little bit of off-screen work. And that is going to involve basically producing a bunch of these solar panels and probably laying out the rest of the equatorial range here. Because I don't want this video to run extremely long. And we're already at the time limit, so hopefully you guys have enjoyed. If you have, hit the like button down below and subscribe to the channel. And you can always go check out my Patreon and support me over there. But that's it for today. Have a great one, and